I'm Jacob Adams. I'm a fitness and leadership coach. I help people just like you get to the next level. In the gym, by building muscle, burning body fat, helping you get on a nutrition program and world-class supplementation. Here on YouTube, I share ideas and insights as to my own findings and research from everything stemming from sleep and recovery, modafinil, smart drugs, nootropics, winning mindsets, and everything in between to help you get to the next level. Have you been struggling with monogamy? Have you been struggling with understanding if it's something for you, or maybe you're out of a relationship and one of the partners, meaning you or the other one, cheated and saw it come to an end? Look, you're not alone. You know, I often refer to some of the big stars in the world, like Brad Pitt, who was with Angelina Jolie, who was thought of to be one of the most gorgeous women ever. And I think he cheated on her with Jennifer Aniston, and then he's divorcing her, and then Tom Cruise, and he's divorced Nicole Kidman, who, again, one of the most gorgeous women ever. And these are very successful people in the world with fame and fortune and skills and talents and beautiful partners, kids, like the works, right? I sometimes refer to them and say, well, look, these people had everything that we collectively, society, in the Californication of the world, as sang about by Red Hot Chili Peppers, in the Californication metrics of the world, meaning fame, fortune, good looks, etc., etc. These things that we look at as success, if these people with all of it are having trouble staying in relationships, don't be so hard on yourself. If you might be in a minimum wage job and you met someone on Tinder and it's just not working out after 3 months. I feel like I've met almost every type of person. The other day, I was at my friend's birthday party and I met somebody there who was a virgin until they married, and she met the person on Tinder and they just had a baby. So I've gotten the opportunity to meet different types of people. So what you're about to hear, this particular video, this unpackaging, will be some of my most recent findings, my most recent stories, and some of my attempt to bring to you my most sincere insight into this concept of monogamy. When I was looking up on YouTube some of the videos that this video might be aligned with, like, is monogamy dead? I'm not the only one to pose this question. As a matter of fact, Aubrey Marcus, the CEO of Onnit Supplementation, recently this year got separated or split from his girlfriend, his open relationship. And so we're seeing more and more different options as to how to go about relationships. Neil Strauss this year announced his divorce from Ingrid. Now, you may not know this, but here on the wall next to me, there's a picture of Neil Strauss with his wife, Ingrid, and their child, 10. And I have the quote. It says, "The guiding light is not to look to others for your own behavior." I think that's a great quote to open up this video. It's a great quote to, at the end of the day, no matter what is you hear on this video, it's ultimately going to be up to you. Prior to making this video, I actually spoke to one of my coaches for about 45 minutes on the topic of monogamy. So my findings and what you're about to hear are an extensive story spanning over 20 years, and in relationships or single, or some of you've seen my video, Friends with Benefits and stuff like that, and all the stories in between, knowing people that are deeply in the Christian world, celibate, looking for the right partner. So my experiences with celibacy and everything in between, like I said. So let's start a little bit at the beginning to give you some backdrop as to which to say, well, what gives you any experience to speak on this? I actually got together with my high school love, okay? Not in high school. We were from two different groups. You know, back when people had groups, I was a skater boy, she was a cheerleader. And, you know, her crew would go to Mexico every weekend and go drink it up and party. That was like her crew. My crew would get together and, you know, party out locally and just, you know, skate and do fun things like that with the guys, right? So we had two different crews. Like, she was in that like flashy crew and I was in that skater crew, okay? Just to kind of speed things up here now. So we didn't get together until after high school, but we had a thing for each other in high school. And one day, you know, I was working as a server because I was just out of high school, serving tables, and she calls me. And at that time, you know, I felt like my life was going in a good trajectory. You know, I was making a living, had my own place, and here I am. I felt like, oh, now she calls me, like the girl I liked from high school, and now she calls me after a year, you know, not talking at all. So it didn't take long before we decided to give it a go. We bonded well on the phone, and I said it didn't take long before we decided to give it a go and give it a shot. And we soon got our own place in Austin, Texas. Like I said, I think we started talking in May. By July-ish, like within a month's time or so, we had our own place in Austin, Texas. I moved to Austin, and that is where I started supplementation, sales, and got into fitness, and here I am. But going back to just talking about the relationships. So, you know, we tried our best to work it out. We had jealousy issues right out the gate, and that relationship lasted from 2001 to about 2007. So it's about the longest relationship I ever had. And it was monogamous. There was no cheating. And in regards, I never slept with anyone. And to my best knowledge, she never slept with anyone else. You know, you don't know what anyone else did because I wasn't monitoring her 24/7. We were around each other a lot. We worked in the same place and stuff like that. So we went to school together. So we were together a lot, and lived together. So it was probably the person I got to know the closest. Was a lot of growth with that person. In any case, what I found that relationship didn't work is it was the sex thing. Like, she had lied to me about some stuff, dealing with, you know, abortions and prior to me, and it just didn't sit right. You know, I was too young, I think, to kind of process that. Like, when I say that, too young to process that, what I'm getting at specifically is I didn't have the capacity to overlook that. Like, what I thought I was getting when I was with her was this like perfect girl, like this perfect image of her, and that's the image I fell in love with. Like this, like, you know, rare flower out in the field that was just for me. You know, that's the image I fell in love with. And so right out of the gate, though, she was kind of hiding stuff from me, which I saw as a manipulation. So in my eyes, you know, what really poisoned the well of that relationship was what I saw was a manipulation. That she wanted to keep like abortions from the past from me. She wanted to like manipulate me into thinking or keeping a frame of mind to look at a certain way, and she lied to keep that. This is an important part. While seemingly not relevant to what we're talking about, monogamy, I'm letting you know that this was an important power struggle, an important poisoning of sorts to this concept of monogamy. Meaning, to be clear, to give you a backdrop as to why that's important here. Consider the opposite. Consider that she would have lied to me, but if I was in an open relationship and it wasn't serious and I wasn't planning to marry her or whatever, then it's going to be far more difficult for me to take it so serious, because I don't have to stay in these boundaries of, well, you're the only person I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm not going to lie to you, right? If those expectations weren't there, that pressure, then even if she would have, you know, lied to me about something like that happened prior to us, it would have been less serious. As a matter of fact, I think, well, what if she would have just come out and said, hey, listen, I know you think of me this way. I know that you think of me this way, but I've done these things, and that may change your opinion of me. And I know that you think of me this way, but I'm willing to let you know this has happened, and this is who I am now. I think that I probably would have not taken her as serious. I probably would have not moved in with her. I probably would have just been in Austin and said, okay, well, look, let's just be friends and kind of take it day by day, and let's not rush into it. But does that make any sense? So, like, the fact that I had already gotten a place with her, and then I find out that there's this, like, hidden story that... So that was... So what's really weird, though, is that I think she did her best to make it up to me. And she was a really good girlfriend, So I couldn't walk away from, like, a really good girlfriend. And loyal to me and supportive and a great teammate. So I really feel that she was a good girlfriend, but like I always found myself wanting other people and really not settling in my heart. And I think it was partly my genetics, partly my biology. I was a young 21-year-old guy, right? And the other aspect, it was not only genetics, it was like this unsettling of like, oh, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like I'm gonna forever be able to run this. But we went to college and stuff like that, and so we had other stuff to do than to just think about what wasn't working, what needed to change. It was also like, we need to go to school, we need to go to work, we need to do shit. We got bills to pay. So there was stuff there, pressures that kind of kept the thing going. I think the wheels fell off as she was gonna turn 27 or so, and she felt like, well, this isn't gonna turn to marriage. Jacob hasn't asked me to marry him, and she probably felt she needed to go and meet somebody that was going to marry her. And so that's fine. I look back now and I think she made the wise decision for herself. She's currently happily married with kids. And I'm happy for her. This has been over a decade ago that happened. And so, in any case, and then I went through kind of like a party phase of sorts where I felt good. I thought, well, you know what? I'm never gonna, go back to being monogamous with one person. Let me just play the field and go with that. And that lasted for about 3 to 5 years of that energy, of like 4 years or so of that kind of energy of like, just not worry about it. Let's just fucking have fun. Let's just go to the club. Let's drink some wine. Let's meet people. Let's just see what happens. And let's not worry about marriage. It's fake. It's stupid. It's never going to work. And that was my attitude for about 4 years. In that time, I met a few people, some of these friends with benefits type situations that they're very common, and I made a video about and stuff like that. I met some of those people during these 4 years, and so in any case, eventually, within about 2 years, I had a girlfriend again. It took me a while to say, but eventually I told this one woman, I said, look, we've dated for a while. We know each other. I like you. I trust you. Let's just make it official. You're my girlfriend, and you're my only one. And this is my second attempt at monogamy. So in a 10-year span, this is now my second attempt at monogamy. I had written it off for about 3 years. About 3 to 4 years, I wrote it off. Like, monogamy is stupid. And then I had another person I dated for a while, and that person became my second monogamous attempt. And I think it's something about the title, like things were better before the title or something. But I think once the title comes and the expectations come and the rules come and I think that propagates pressure, because as soon as that title hit, things change. And that wouldn't be the only time that happened. The title does something to people's psychology. It just makes everybody act different in my experience. Now, take that with a grain of salt if you like. I'm just saying it's pretty common. And so, that happened. And within a few months of me calling her my girlfriend, like 3-4 months, I don't even know, forget. we were long distance at that time. Like, we were living close together at one point, and then I had to move away for business to start Evolution Training. That's the logo you see beneath this video. My own CrossFit box, training trainers, selling supplementation and stuff like that. So now we're looking at, you say, a 10-year span has passed between when I first started selling supplements, and now 10 years have happened, and now I got my own business, I'm selling supplements, I'm training trainers, and so that's what 10 years has done. And so now, you know, I'm in a long distance relationship and doing my best to be exclusive as much as that goes. No one's planned this. This is real life. Like, you don't plan this. You don't say, well, I want to start a relationship in Houston and then move away 300 miles. But long distance and power struggles was what sort of did that one out. So long distance and power struggles was sort of some of the key factors that made that one fall apart. Great girl, very smart, great woman, very smart. Can say, I don't have anything negative to say about that person. Like, I could say I was probably the one that valued that relationship less, and I paid the price for that. Like, that's the truth of it. I don't think, usually you can know who's the one that fucked up. Like, I would say I was probably the one that fucked up in that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the I'm gonna go ahead and take the responsibility for that one. And so, in any case, they came. But here's the thing: I talk about often. I'm wearing meditation beads here, and the thing is that those power struggles to me weren't new. You see, they weren't new, and this is where I really dug deep. See, I had a business to build on one hand, and I'm in great shape, have my own company, I have a car, I have a house, I'm getting on planes to fly in and out. Like, I feel good about myself. I'm going to concerts. I feel good about who I am, right? And I sit down at my desk, and here I am in these power struggles with this girlfriend of mine. We hadn't broken up just yet. And this one from Houston. And I say, look, dude, I need this to stop. Like, I just can't live my life going through these power struggles and these breakups, and it just felt like tedious. Like, so this is about 10, 11, about a decade of just some of the same struggles that I kept seeing in relationships. And so I opened up a book, and it's Man's Eternal Quest by Yogananda, and it says, your time will come. And when it does, you will ask yourself, did I make time to get to know him? At that time, here I am looking to build a business again, and I'm looking to establish some sanity in my life. I'm looking to establish like a cohesive partnership where it stops being so fucking power struggle driven, like where it's just power struggles. And I'm fatigued, dude. I'm like, dude, I see before my eyes, like, so what? I'm just gonna keep getting, so say I end this relationship, okay, fine. Let's just say that one's gonna end. But all the work, all the years, all of the time, the conversations, the I'll never let you down, or I'm always gonna be there for you, and shit like that, that's going out the window. Okay, fine, that hurts. That fucking hurts, right? But what, am I gonna do that again? Like, so am I gonna just do that again with somebody? It's a pattern, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I gotta stop this shit. One way or another, I have to stop this shit. By the way, if I'm gonna have to cut this video into several parts. So if you like to see part 2, this video will finish up and it'll go into the next one. Please look at that, and I'll do my best to link the video, part 2 below this one. Okay, anyway, where am I? So I see this pattern happening, and I'm like, okay, I think, well, what's my best solution? Like, I go to myself, like, what is my best solution? Now that I've heard this about your time will come, you will ask yourself, did I get to know him? I'm like, well, maybe, and then seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added on to you. And I'm like, okay, well, that probably means business and growth and health and everything. Like, so what I'm probably missing is a relationship with God, because that's the only thing I haven't really done. I haven't done that. Like, I've prayed to God, but I've not put God first, okay? So me being a leader, right? And I'm getting the message. You say this is the voice talking to me. I would say that's definitely a moment of the voice. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just do what I got to do then. So I'd been thinking about meditating since 2007. It's 2012. Here's this message. It's kind of like epiphany hits me. And I say, okay, well, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get closer to God because that's what I need to do. And I began that process as best as I can. It didn't take long. I presented it to my girlfriend from Houston at the time. And I said, look, if we're going to want to stop these power struggles and this bullshit and all this crap, you're going to have to be on board with me on this path towards God, because I don't see us working any other way. I don't see us like being on the same page any other way. It's going to be this consistent seesaw, yo-yo, power struggle thing. And she goes, well, think about it. And I was in a heat of a power struggle with her. And I'm like, oh, she'll think about it. Like, in other words, to me at that moment, it was the perfect words to say were those to end it. Because I was like, dude, I'm doing my best to save this thing. I'm sacrificing self, ego. I'm telling you, I will give it the best shot. But if you're going to think about it, well, let's just end the thing. And it ended. And I began the path towards meditation and to God and the practice. And yeah, it was sad that that relationship ended. It was, it was a good one. It wasn't the best one in the world, but it was a good one. She was a good person, and we got along. We had very smart, very intellectual conversations. I sometimes miss her as a friend, and I hope that doesn't offend her. Whenever I've called her, like, it's actually been, it's going to go into the next video here. I'm getting the notice here, so just bear with me as it changes over. Anyway, when I have tried to talk to her very, very, like say a handful of times, I've missed that person.